The city of Cape Town is warning residents against a prepaid electricity meter scam. According to officials, scammers posing as council members or contractors are offering cheaper electricity units to gain access to homes. However, the city says electricity bought from these people simply doesn't work. Let's get you more on this now. Bring in Cape Town's MMC for Energy, Beverly Van Reenen, who joins us via our video link this morning. MMC, it's lovely to have you on the program. Thanks so much indeed for making time. You know, everybody loves a good deal, but I imagine you learned about the scam when people started complaining that the electricity they bought at a great deal simply doesn't work.
Certainly not. Good morning to you, and good morning to your viewers. Absolutely, you know, you find these scammers, and I think that it is important for the city of Cape Town to warn residents that currently there are two new electricity scams that are doing the rounds. And we really would like to urge all of our residents to be aware of these scammers who are trying to sell cheap but fraudulent units, and also others who are posing as electricity officials to gain access to their homes. And so they really just need to be alert.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are two scams, and so it is important that residents are aware but also alert. You know, when they do knock on the door.
So take us through how these scammers work, MMC. I imagine, of course, they come in, but they must know how the meter itself works, because by the time they leave, the unsuspecting victim thinks there are more electricity units there.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, let me just say, I mean, I think that, you know, all our residents need to be alert, because they use either marketplace to advertise, and as well as via email. And you know, when a scammer makes contact with you, it is important to know that they must provide you with a identification card that has a city logo on it. Nothing else. And also, there must be a name and a surname of the actual staff member on that city, official city card, the identification card. So it's absolutely important. And if there's any uncertainty, please make sure that you make contact with the city of Cape Town. You know, I mean, all of these, Ayanda, these scammers, it's almost as if they are absolutely desperate. And so they go out there with any method, any way to scam our residents. But if it is too good to be true, I can promise you it is fake. So please do not fall for that.
Yeah.
Please do not.
I mean, do they tamper with the meters at all? Apologies for interrupting you there, MMC. I mean, how do they get away with it is essentially what I'm trying to get to. Because part of what I understand is that people realize that they've been scammed after the fact, after this person has left their premises.
You know, they pose as city officials. And so it's for that reason that we are alerting and informing our residents. Please do not allow anyone onto your property unless they have all of the relevant and necessary official city documentation and identification cards. Also, we will not just send somebody without an appointment. All of our contractors and all of our staff members, they have to make an appointment with the resident. And so please do not allow anyone onto your property, because ultimately we do not sell cheap electricity. And so, you know, it's important, I mean, that they only buy legitimate electricity units at the correct price per unit. We do not sell cheaper electricity. It is fake. You are going to lose it. You will not be able to utilize those units on your meter should you, for argument's sake, you know, buy cheaper electricity, because it's not. It's fake.
Yeah. I mean, you say part of what residents can do is try and verify the ID card that this person should have. You know, you mentioned there that they should look out for the logo. Is that not easy to replicate, MMC?
You know, if there's any uncertainty, please do call the City of Cape Town on 0860 103 089. Alternatively, please do contact, if you cannot get through, please do feel free to contact your ward councillor, because they will be able to make contact with the electricity department. So it's really very important. And if there's any suspicious behavior, please also call the South African Police Service or our law enforcement agencies. Please do not be scammed.
Yeah. Is there any way of quantifying, MMC, how much money has been lost to the city specifically through these scams?
Look, I mean, you know, those units that they are buying, if they say that it is cheaper units and they've been scammed, there's no loss to us, because it's the actual resident and the customer who is suffering the loss.
Yeah.
Because they don't work on our meters.
Right. Okay, I see what you mean. And
yes.
is there a way through which perhaps some of these scammers bypass the city's own connection? Because we know that's also sometimes, there's a proliferation of that, people bridging their meters, ultimately so that people aren't paying.
Yeah. No, Ayanda, thus far, they've not been able to bypass the city's meters. Yeah. So I think it's important, just to also indicate that there are two scams, and I really would like to reiterate. There are two scams. The one is that we've been made aware of is, of course, where residents are offered those cheaper units that I've alluded to, and so the electricity that's sold, and it doesn't work. I want to reiterate, it does not work on the city's meters, and anyone who's making use of the service will unfortunately soon find out. They will find that out. So it will not work. So everyone, like you said, they love a deal, and especially during these very difficult economic times. But, they must remember that if the price of the electricity units seems too good to be true, it very likely is a scam. So please do not fall for those scams. And then the second one is, of course, we're a senior citizen, and we've been alerted to this. Where a senior citizen reported to us that someone had visited her home claiming that they needed to enter the property to scan her prepaid meter. So it's about scanning the prepaid meter so that she can get a rebate on her electricity. So the city really, we really would like to urge, in order for people and for residents and our customers to receive any sort of rebate, there is a specific form for them to complete, and I'd like to urge them to visit their nearest municipal office in order to obtain the relevant form. If there's still uncertainty, please do make contact with the City of Cape Town or your local ward councillor, who will be able to guide and advise in respect of those forms. These scammers, they are wanting to enter your property because they would like to steal small personal items like jewelry, cash, anything that they can lay their hands on.
Right.
And the target, of course, it's our most vulnerable, and that's our elderly.
Absolutely. Loud and clear. Beverly Van Reenen, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Appreciate your time on the AM Report.